Hello and welcome to T-Dad Talks. I'm Garrett Watson. As elections approach us this year, with a quickly developing city around us, it's important as voting citizens to know your candidates and how they plan to handle important issues. To assist in the process, we here at Chronicle News Media decided to host a one-on-one interview with each of the candidates, and we hope you'll find this informative. To be fair, each candidate will be asked the same questions, and I'll allow them to finish those questions before moving on to the next. Today, we're sitting down with City Council candidate Terry Brown. So what made you decide to run in this election?
I got talked into it. Well, no, that's not fair either. But people that I thought, and I'll pick Pat Fletcher. She won't mind. I hounded her, I think is a good way, friendly in a way, to consider running again. Because Pat was, I forgot how many years she was on council for at least 8 years. And then one day, she calls me on the phone. It was a side issue that we were both working on together that had to do with Noah's Ark. And she said, "It's you. You're the one that should be running for council. They make these jobs for people like you." So then I talked to Terry, and I talked to Wayne and Martha next door, and I talked to Carlos, and I talked to Karen, and they said, "Yep, she's right." So then I thought about it, and I said, "Okay, what do I bring to the table? What can I do?" But the decision that I made was based on the fact that some people that I have a great deal locally and personally admiration for said, "You're the guy. Do this. It'll be good for the community. It'll be good for you. You're retired." And I got to know a lot more people because I'm on the library advisory board. I work about 40 to 45, as many as 50 hours a week in the bookstore. So I get to talk to a lot of people and got to talk to a lot of people. So I made the decision. And one other thing, and Terry says this is even more important than some of the other things. I noticed and I go to all the city council meetings. And I've been doing it for 3 years. I'm kind of like a local government nerd. And I noticed, with the exception, again, of Pat Fletcher, unless somebody was there to talk to the council about a particular issue that they were involved in, nobody came. There's no attendance from the general public at council meetings, whether they're special meetings, regular meetings, or whatever. And I was interested. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this.
Awesome.
And I'm excited about doing it.
That's great. So there's a lot of things that are happening, a lot of moving parts that are going on in town with the recent purchase of the Fisher's Peak. Now it's a state park.
Yep.
We have the La Puerta development, a lot of things happening in town. There's also a lot of challenges and things that this town is facing. What are some important challenges that you see facing this community, and how do you think that you can address those?
Okay.
Or help to address them?
All right. You're right. There are a number of challenges. For me, there are two that just weigh more than the others. Homelessness has a lot of weight. It's a huge, huge, huge issue, not just in Trinidad, but we're talking about Trinidad, so we'll stay with Trinidad. But it's an issue in southern Colorado. And besides the homelessness issue, we have a recycle issue. The recycle issue has a huge story to it that, we could sit here and we could talk about what the Chinese did to us 2 years ago when they pulled the plug on our recycle material. But the fact is that those two issues are not just huge to Trinidad. They're huge anywhere that you would find yourself located in this country. The problem with them is that dealing with those issues locally is going to require, I believe, an enormous coming together of the entire community, because neither one of dealing with these are going to be free. They're going to cost some money. Putting the kinds of recycle containers in front of people's houses means that those people, the community, that's the citizens of Trinidad, are going to get a bill every month. And then what do we do with it? You know, there's so many questions that have to be answered, and I'm sorry that I can't sit here and answer them all for you today. But there are issues that we're going to have to deal with, and I want to be part of that. You know, I think that we're going to have the council that is going to be able to do that in conjunction with working with the county officials. The homelessness issue is another one. It's a huge, huge issue. And quite frankly, it's divisive. You can knock on 8 doors the way I have in just the last couple of weeks, and you're going to get 6 or 8 different answers on what we should do and why we should do it. So how we're going to arrive at, I can tell you this, that I went with Pat Fletcher and I went with Mallory, and I went with a couple of other people who are, I shouldn't say tied into, but are part of the Library Advisory Board, and we went to Canyon City. And the people in Canyon City gave us a tour of what they've done with their ideas for the future and as it pertains to homelessness. And we were just, there wasn't one of us in the 8 that went up on the bus that day that didn't come away with our mouths literally hanging open saying, oh my. You know, maybe we don't have all the answers in Trinidad. Maybe we don't have any answers right now. But these folks here in Canyon City, they faced off against the same issues that we did. And you would just have to go on a tour of the structures they built, where they build them, the people that are living there. It's just, like I said, it's a OMG. It's just absolutely remarkable what they've done in Canyon City. That's not the moon. They're our neighbor.
Right.
And we could learn some things from them. We'll see if we do.
Great.
You bet.
So, as far as speaking to the economy that's growing here, how do you plan as a city council member to support that vibrant economy moving forward?
Okay, I think that Councilman Lopez, I think that Carlos started talking in the spring of 18 and has continued talking about a project that is, well, because it keeps coming up. I don't know if you went back and examined all the record of city council meetings, I don't know how many times Carlos says, I think we ought to consider. And what he's talking about is in making Trinidad, building within the infrastructure of Trinidad a way to do recycling. To take our recycled product and turn it into something that people will buy. To the point of where we might get into the area, or we might get into the realm of where people in our neighborhood, the little towns that surround Trinidad, up into, including all the way to Pueblo, sending us their recyclable stuff, and we turn it into products that we can sell. We're talking about, his idea is to build facilities that would be manufacturing goods that would require 70, 80, 100, maybe more people to do this factory work, and they would be making, $12 to $15 to $18 an hour. It could, in a lot of ways, take our unemployment rate almost. Now, you're not going to do this kind of thing overnight, but it's a vision that he has that I'm really attracted to. You could literally, over a period of time, and maybe not a long period of time, take a huge bite out of the unemployment rate.
Sure, that's a solution to be offered.
Yeah, that would be a solution. And, there's, besides, I'm not going to use the term eliminating unemployment, but there's a lot of men and women who are out there right now who are making, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what the minimum wage is, but, somewhere between 10, 12, and $15 that would make more. So, and the other thing is that we have, and I don't know how big this community is because I'm just starting to get exposed to it, and I'm getting exposed to it because I met a number of people who are in that community, but we have a community of grandparents that are raising their grandchildren. And I don't know what we're doing to help them financially and any other ways that the city might be able to reach out. And I don't know why. All I know is that the families that I've come in contact they'll tell you, the grandparents will tell you the reason they're raising their grandchildren, the reasons just cover the map. Children addicted to opioids. It just goes on and on and on. Then we know from talking to people that there are single parents that are doing everything that they can to further their education, either going from having left as sophomores in high school to graduating from high school or taking classes at the college. But they have a child. They might have more than one child. And how do they get care for that child and get to the college to take and then get to work? Those are things, as I said when we first started talking, I don't know just what lies in the future of taking care of homelessness and taking care of recycle, but those are things that I really believe that we can have immediate impacts. Those are citizens of this town that we should be able to help, and I believe that we'll come up with programs to help them. Actually, right now, we don't know how many there are, except that there's a bunch.
How will you maintain a positive relationship as a city council member between the city of Trinidad and the county of Los Animas?
That's a tough question. Because the truth of the matter is that other than Commissioner Haas and a little bit Commissioner Lopez, I don't know any of them. And while I've done very, very well going to council meetings and going to the, Parks and Recreation, going to all the commissions, not all of them, but I'm really good at going to board meetings and to commission meetings. But if I had to have my report card graded on how much time I've spent at county meetings, I wouldn't get a very good mark. But that's going to change. That's going to change because I've had some talks with Councilman Lopez, and he has spent time with those. His brother, of course, is on the county board. So he is going to introduce me to those folks over there, and I'm going to start becoming a regular. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to be in the seats watching their meetings.
Good. So the desire is there.
Oh yeah, the desire is there.
Fantastic. So in brief, how do you feel like you want to address to the public why they should vote for you?
I think that somewhere in that mix, the excitement of the possibilities. When we first started here a few minutes ago, you talked about Fisher's Peak and what that means. I mean, if you had any, when I say if you, I mean members of if there's any part of our community that had some negative feelings about the future of Trinidad, whether it's because of the marijuana industry or the homelessness industry, if they didn't get a spark of, oh my, with what happened here in the last X hours, I'm really excited about where we're going. And I'm really excited that I come from a history of organizing people. I spent, 38 years in the union, and I enjoy talking to people. Terry tells me that one of the skills I'm going to have to refine a little bit better than I have, I'm going to have to be a better listener. So I work on that. But I'm just excited about the possibilities, and I think that this is something that the community would be really well served. I'm somebody that the community would be well served to be taken care of for them.
Great. Awesome. Well, Mr. Brown, thank you so much for being here and joining us today.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That was City Council candidate Terry Brown. We hope you enjoyed today's talk, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. This is Garrett Watson, T-Dad Talk. Have a good one.